Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Authentic Ingenuity Entrepreneur. My name is Mina Crichton. I'm the narrator of this video clip and every other video clips on my YouTube channel and Facebook page. Obviously, as you can tell, I'm dealing with my personal property, being myself, about my identity, my entity, my ideas, my intellectual property, obviously, and also the life of a person, which is my life, and anything that is tangible property that belongs to me or created out of my own initiative, talking about personal property. Also, I've been sharing my real life court case in the courts. So what you see in regards to my court cases, everything is true, is my legal evidence for the court. Going backwards, for those that are new on board on this video clip, my court case has been pending for be 10 years this year to be exact, which is not good. It's been in the civil jurisdiction, so basically I've just been going through this new court system or government system. I have exhausted the system. It's gross negligence now because of the seriousness of my personal set of circumstances, and I've had to go keep everything public in the moment for the sake of obviously for intervention, because it's a case of pure discrimination and a lockout. Obviously, historically, that is what is on my personal property that I've been used for trafficking. There's several types of trafficking rings, but my one I can confirm according to the law, it is trafficking in persons case, because it's so personal and intimate. It also given me the understanding why it is 20 years imprisonment, because everything about it is wrong. So I am a whistleblower according to the law and to my opponent. For those that don't know what a whistleblower is, it's a person that actually exposes corruption within a corporate body, or something that you've been a witness to, and you become a threat to those that have committed perjury secretly, or they know that they've done something very wrong and they could get into trouble or lose their job. So that is what a whistleblower is. A whistleblower is not a person who is committing corruption. It's actually a person of integrity exposing whatever it is that they have been subject to while working in their occupation or for their employer. So yes, my case is a whistleblower case. However, I didn't even know really what whistleblower meant or the aspects surrounding being a whistleblower. It is definitely a life-threatening situation for any human being who becomes lured into what I've been through. It is organised crimes, and it is definitely crimes against body corporate. But also the other downfall of being a whistleblower, everyone is trading in influence and sharing information internally. So we're dealing with internal corruption or internal surveillance and micromanaging. So it is organised crime. But I can prove in my own personal property, in my court case, it's a very serious one. It's a miracle that I'm even alive today, because there's many culpable homicide offences already committed. There have been offences where people have tried to murder me, so there's offences of attempt, but there's definitely clear evidence of criminal negligence, and a lot of trading in influence, sharing information, internal sharing information, Also, I know my privacy is gone, where I have felt like people were recording my every act and my every word and interpreting it, or in their belief or whatever it is. It is definitely a trafficking in persons case, but to be trading in influence is 7 years imprisonment in the Crimes Act, and that's easily proven in my court case. This here is a timeline that I've drafted up with my court cases. It does go back to 2006, so it's the privacy breaches started at work. The names here are the names of my manager that I was having a working relationship problem with. So there's documentations and evidence about that in my court cases. By 2009, I sent out an email because I was having cybercrime. I was suffering from harassment within the work, and just different things. I knew I was being set up, and by the cybercrime, an alliance was definitely building within the office. And so I sent out an email in 2009 to these three individuals by the guidance of a PSA delegate. So that all those emails that I had conversation with, that PSA delegate is on file. So that's all evidence. This is in 2009, but I was having a working relationship problem with this manager at this point of time, and the solution at that time for the court manager at that time at Waitakere District Court, she advised me to go down and work in the summary jurisdiction in the criminal, and I agreed. It was basically for the purpose of splitting us up. But that was a good decision. So I went down and worked down in the criminal jurisdiction, away from the civil disputes tribunal. So I worked in the civil and the disputes tribunal for a couple of years. Then I went down to the summary jurisdiction and worked in the criminal jurisdiction up to the time I lost my job. And then in 2009, the cybercrime was still increasing. I was suffering harassment and stalking, going to and fro from home and work. And at this point of time, the manager at this time in the summary sent me for a mental health assessment. I didn't want to go because I didn't see what was the reason of that. There was no reason for me to go for that. But I had my suspicion because of all the complaints that I was making to PSA. But I went anyway because my employer at the time said that if I didn't go, they could make me go. So I went anyway, even though I didn't want to go. Nothing came out of that assessment with the mental health assessment, other than when they decided to pull out my documents to see what was written about me. I was horrified. So I gathered all that together. I wasn't happy with what was written. I was assessed by two women I'd never met in my life. But I wasn't happy with what they wrote in the assessment. So that assessment's actually an exhibit in court. And common sense is you can just read by what they wrote on that assessment. I didn't agree to everything what they were writing, but I had a suspicion that what they were writing, they were creating evidence. They weren't writing, I could just tell by reading the assessment with the report. So I ended up, that report as an exhibit in court. I used it against those two medical practitioners, I thought they were, who assessed me, and at court I found out that they were actually nurses, meaning they didn't even qualify to assess me. So I won that case in court. That report was dated the 8th of July. Then things got so bad by 2010, all hell broke loose. At this time I was doing a unison dance crew. My identity was stolen at work. I had the car accident at this point of time. The harassment was horrific. People were using their cars, stalking me or following me. You will see them. Sometimes they like to indicate they're actually, what they're doing indirectly, it's the messages, and they're actually that confident in their plans and plots, they're actually acting it out. So listen to your conscience if you feel that you're being cybercrime, or somebody is suspiciously using their work vehicles as part of a conspiracy against yourself. I've had that happen to me many times. They are working together using their occupation. It's cybercrime. They're using their cars, and it's so easy to glue on anyone that is targeted. So I've definitely been a targeted victim historically, and that's not actually hard to prove on my complaints already in submission in court. So I put a protected disclosure together for New Zealand Police and IPCA in 2010. All these are all exhibited documentations in the High Court. And then, however, the complaints never got investigated at all. But it did lead, because of the criminal negligence and no one helping me out or intervention, they derailed me. They used me for relationship scams. At that point of time, it was linking to the church, where they used Eko Hardunga and Dan Brady. But they used, it was a cultural, they turned my life into like an illegal commonwealth and a cultural secretly, but I didn't know it in the first instance. Everything didn't really kind of like hit me in reality until I actually lost my job, and then went through the evidence myself and did my own investigation. And because it's my life, I'm a personal witness to what I have gone through. So by 2015, they set me up, and the reason why I have sued PSA, because they didn't represent me properly. They could have won. They had all the opportunity to intervene at that time, but they didn't. So I've sued the PSA because I'm furious of what they did. They did nothing. In fact, they set me up. I made the complaints first in 2010. In 2015, the cybercrime was pretty hostile at work. They were using me for relationship scams, so an alliance was building up against me. And the alliance was with Eko Haronga, where everyone had been on her side. That's what I'm saying. They used me for relationship scam. I didn't realize it was actually a global game until I got kicked out, and then I realized what they were doing on social media, and I was just freaking out. I was like, oh my gosh, no wonder why I was going through what I was going through. Going back to 2010, I got poisoned at work. I still am adamant that took place. And so 2010, all hell broke loose. They were hacking into my laptop. The evidence on documentation clearly indicates that staff were recording me secretly, asking me questions while I was working. and PSA did nothing for me. They did nothing. In fact, when I actually had a conversation with the PSA delegate and I told them what happened, I don't know, they took me off my work site and then they created evidence and then they turned it on me. They made me look like the problem. And all the staff, there were some staff who ended up being siding with their employer, obviously, because I'm the problem, because I'm the complainant. However, everything is challengeable, which I did in the employment, because I knew they were setting me up. My work condition was not good. It was terrible. I just went into work, minded my own business, and they were all setting me up, linking to the church. But in saying that, the evidence clearly shows that I was having problems with staff going back to 2009 when I sent out emails in 2009. So basically no one did nothing. They left me in my employment, and then they set me up and an unfair dismissal took place. Then they medically terminated me, meaning they medically terminated me. They actually defamed my reputation. Like everything was a setup. It linked to me going to have a mental health assessment through my doctor, because there's clear evidence they had made contact with my family GP at that time. I didn't even want to go for a medical assessment, but I had no choice because I had to renew my medical certificate. That's the only reason why I went there. So I'm just repeating all this. If you watched all my other videos, I've already gone over the evidence. So I'm just doing this for those that are new on board and just for this video clip. So there's clear indication on documentations that my work environment was very bad. Court staff were recording me, and I knew they were linking, which is privacy breaches, to people in church, passing on information, and it was coming over the pulpit. So that's a privacy breach, a very serious one. And so basically it was like my word against theirs. Also my complaints to IPCA and New Zealand Police, it clearly indicate I said that people were got my bank account details. They were into everything I was going through. All this took place in 2010, and at this year I made the decision I had to move out of my home, my 3-bedroom home, split my children up, and that's what happened at that point of time. So when I look at the evidence, PCA did nothing. I'd say I know that the CEOs of PSA going back at that time knew about what I was going through. They did nothing. So I have sued PCA. Obviously you can tell that I've been doing one court case after another, a total of 6 body corporates in my court cases. I haven't dealt with the banks yet because they all link together. So it is a very serious criminal case. So I didn't really realize the seriousness of my situation going back to 2010 when I knew all hell broke loose, that I can confirm that espionage and sabotage and imposters have been in my space. And I even got a shock when I realized the government had coded me, and coding is, they've actually coded me like a product. And that explains why my environment was hostile from time to time, and that people were stage stalking me in my environment. Like, my environment is not natural. I've known when somebody is in my personal space carrying out other people's but we've been used as a spy on me, or just to be in my space on behalf of somebody else. So espionage has taken place. They've basically they're actually twinning and switching. That is what they're doing. But they have used me for global, whatever they want to call it. So this is what they've used. They've used me. The substitute that they are using, whoever's behind the using of the substitute, is an invisible opponent on behalf of. I didn't realize it until I went through my own court cases that these people were actually for the government or linking to my court cases. Okay, so I'm they turn my life into like a competitor, so I'm glued to the competitor. That's what you call animate or inanimate, and that's what they've done to me. I'm the actual original, but the competitor are using substitute. So there's a perpetrator behind the competitor, or whoever they put in my space. So on behalf of a perpetrator can be anybody, can be a gang member, can be someone in a prominent position, it can be anyone. And they have used me for global games. And we all know that rich people, they use substitutes. So they've, some of these hosts and sponsors are millionaires and billionaires. Even some of the singers, they've used their lyrics as part of the game, like a tip-off, using the misuse of devices. It's a very, very intimate game, personal intimacy and involved. So we're dealing with a positive energy versus a negative energy. I have found that being glued to a substitute secretly, there's clear evidence that I've been being blacklisted and derailed, or whoever is behind or following me, stalking me within my space, and when I'm in public, it's a negative energy. Okay, so they're not there because they love me or care about me. I have found people have stolen my identity, my entity, character, and existence, and I have a reasonable belief that they do intend on murdering me. So, but it's the perpetrators are other cultures in my case, or other religions, and who finds me a threat, or just don't like my personality. But it's definitely other religions and other cultures, just seeing the opportunity to take advantage of someone. So basically, they can hate you just for your personality. So I'm the competitor for that, and I have found that their negative energy has been absolutely negative. I can classify and confirm it is a suicidal pact, with everything that I've been subject to with the public scrutiny, and everything that I've gone through personally. So we're dealing with forces of secret societies. I can confirm it's some of the people I've had my suspicion has been politicians. Like I said, I got horrified when I realized how the whole game works. They are doing indirect coding by using words, or to initiate, like a tip off or like an SOS, to let their people know they need help, but they're coding against me. So I'm the person who's suing them, and so I was horrified when I discovered that's what they were actually doing. It also explains the unlawful strikes historically. My case is definitely a Category 4 indictable offences. There's sufficient evidence there to convict body corporates. Can body corporates be charged with criminal offences? The answer is yes. The body corporates and all the members involved in the conspiracy. I am the victim of the crime, okay? In the beginning, the game, I didn't even know that they had turned my life like a global game, but it explains the public scrutiny and the people's behavior in my environment. I have felt unsafe, and just the abuse, indirect psychological abuse. It's inhumane, it's immediate, it's direct. They are using their occupation vehicles like rubbish trucks, like everything that I've put on social media. I'm explaining the crime scene and what I see when I do go out by myself. So it is a cybercrime, but those are the methods they're using, organized crime methods to keep me pinned down or to keep me exiled. When I go on public transport, they're in my space monitoring me. Somebody in my space is monitoring me or making sure it's me, I know. But that is what I've been going through personally. Okay, as you all know, I am a Christian, and I'm not the type of person I would force my beliefs on anyone, but in saying that, this is my faith, this is my personal faith, and I believe that's what started it at work and church, going back in the early days when I was preaching the gospel in prayer meeting. It was my right to, but other people has found have I believe that's what kind of started it while I was working in my job. But my church at that time was my private life. However, different people dug up my past to use against me, and that is what I've gone through. But what I can honestly say about the system is so dangerous, as I am exiled, I have been isolated. They've kept me, like, my only communication with people in the real world is online through emails. I'm a person, I like to do things one-on-one. I prefer consultation with a human being, but this online system that I feel forced in, where you can't speak to the real human being, is really dangerous, because I have found that I've been communicating right into the hands of those that are oppressing me, or people that is linked to the people who have actually stolen off me, or just the opponent. I just have known. So obviously this here, it's what I'm trying to say, it is actually a very dangerous system. It's really easy to lure people into traps and to eliminate somebody like they never existed. That's why I knew I had to go public with my court case, because I've needed the public intervention, because courts wasn't doing it for me, nor the police when I rang them. They're recording my every word, and they are using me for relationship and scams. But the abuse is really horrific. It's no other word I can explain it, but it's like they've pinned a knife in my soul. Words can't describe the pain and suffering they've put me through. They know they're hurting me because it's privacy breaches. They've studied me historically, and then they've just taken turns using me and abusing me. Before I finish with this post, this verse here, obviously in the Bible, it says, "Beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, and inwardly they are ravenous wolves." Obviously, a prophet in the Bible are leaders. That's how the Bible describes human leaders, okay? So a false prophet could be any human being that comes into your space and instead of telling you the truth, they're actually lying to you. So I think this verse is really relevant for organized crimes. What I'm trying to say is what I'm going through is so dangerous. It's a miracle that I even made it this far, but I know it's because of my gifts that God has blessed me with. Knowledge is power. So I have the best of both worlds. And but what I'm saying is, with my own personal experience, it's dangerous for those that don't know the underworld system. Because I've had gang members in my space. I've had some of the guys that I know that the guys that raped me, I know that their family and their friends have been in my space. Okay, because they've dug my past up and use it against me. So that's what they do in a conspiracy. They're building up a negative alliance, obviously, and that is what they've done to me. So I've known that some of these people in my space have been people from my past who have committed serious offences on me, and I haven't done anything about it, or I haven't told anyone about it historically. So I've been very blessed to be able to avoid or dodge their plans and plots many times historically. So basically, you're dealing with people with motives and intents. I can just tell from talking to somebody over the counter when I was doing the courts. They can talk to me nicely and kindly, but I know in my heart, something inside my heart just triggers and says, no, they're lying to you, or they're not for you, and I just know. So I know that everything I've gone through has been intentional sabotage by the courts. And anything that I do has been intentional sabotage. Can I prove it in the court legally? Yes, I can. I'll just go over some pictures. So basically, animate or inanimate. For example, I could be the original in the mirror, just as an example. And then the animate person is on behalf of whoever is gluing themselves to you. The substitute is used to spy or to pretend it's them to the public, okay? Or they're secretly living your life. This is where they're actually imposters, but they are glued and cloned. The evidence is so intimate. For example, if I was to die, only an expert can actually tell the difference. And I can say that because I used to case manage murder cases and rape cases and serious fraud cases. That's where my knowledge and experience come from. And you can tell a lot just by what people wrote. You can tell people's personality. You can tell if what's been written about them is true or correct or is a lie. That all comes from experience, but that is what I did when I was working for Department of Courts, is case manage murder cases and serious fraud cases, rape cases. So, time goes on, you learn how to read and understand a case. Like, just one little glue can break a case. Just a secret email to find out who's behind it. You can just tell that from reading the factual facts in criminal. Okay, so my case is definitely a felony. It's a whistleblower case, okay? So obviously a whistleblower case is very serious. I recall when I was working for a Department of Courts, when I worked with cases where a whistleblower case had gone before a judge, I have found some of the judges have never taken a whistleblower case like a joke, because they know that people in public office have broken laws, and they also know that the life of the whistleblower is in big danger. With the crimes that I've gone through with them, the opponent at me, they have tried to kill me. I have felt that unsafe, and that's why I've rung the police, and they just talk kindly on the phone and hang up with no intention of investigating. They used the Mental Health Act on me so nobody would believe me. And they've all participated in trying to convince me that there's something wrong with me when there isn't. But unfortunately, those who've written unfraudulent, unlawful judgments, it's a felony and misdemeanor. Because of criminal negligence and recklessness, I am today in a very serious duress set of circumstance. My cases are still in the High Court at this point of time. And then I've got the issue with being pregnant, and I am pregnant. And because it's gone on for so long, what the government has done to me and their inciting has made people either scared because they're worried for their own jobs, because they've realized that they could lose their jobs, or they've tried to make me look like I'm the one retarded because I'm up against prominent people. However, I'm still entitled to justice like anybody else. And because of the pregnancy and all the fraudulent evidence written about me, I have to keep going forward, and that's only by fighting the system with my court case and going public with it. But it's definitely embezzlement's taken place, treason, rape, and fraud, and murder, robbery. I mean, it's such a serious case, and especially now that I'm pregnant, and like it's ruined. All this has ruined my relationship with everybody, either because they're scared or they're just siding because of the game. Defamation, obviously, so I'm standing against all that, but they have used me definitely for money laundering also. So I've actually been an introvert all this time. I'm one of these people who love my space. I'm very private. Even when I was at work, I'm very private. And if I talked about anything at work, it was basically just like I didn't really I get involved in anything to do with parties or drinking with co-workers. Yes, I used to go to after hours things with staff, but I always left before everyone got drunk. And that was just how I lived. I was very private. But in saying that, because I've been very private, it's really easy for me to actually identify a privacy breach, especially when I go in public, and tell the difference. Like I can tell straight away whether my environment is safe. But what I have found the most really bad is the abuse, the indirect abuse by the gangs, or the opponents, where they're doing the indirect, using words, or some of the names these company uses, I believe they just use it as part of a game. They like to let you know that they're in your space, like a mockery, or they know you're suffering, so they just take the opportunity to mock you. But a conspiracy has to be exposed, guys. That's my belief. Especially in my situation where the system has let me down and I know people are trying to kill me. But being a whistleblower can be anybody. Anyone can be a witness to something, and then they can secretly attack you. That shouldn't be happening, but that's what's happened to me. Okay, so these are all the things that they've done to me as an individual. And I now understand why the penalty is 20 years imprisonment, because the trafficking in persons cases is 20 years imprisonment, because it's a slave crime. The intimacy, it's not right that people are glued to your soul and turning you into a product, and then they all take turns abusing you and using you. That's wrong. Okay, because of criminal negligence, my case is an automatic judgment of liability should take place in the civil, because there's so many culpable homicide cases. Okay, so if there's enough proof and on documentations to prove criminal negligence, meaning it's like that's what the civil court is for whistleblowers or anyone who wants to sue a body corporate. They are a defendant. So a defendant is a person whom the plaintiff is confident that they've broken a misconduct, code of misconduct, they've broken laws in the legislation or in their jobs. But if you can prove that the defendant has committed those offences, they can be sued. That should be sufficient for a summary judgment. Judgment of liability should have taken place. But I have found that that hasn't taken place. Instead, everyone turned my life into a game like a joke because they're trying to save each other's job. And saying that if I die or the baby dies, that's a culpable homicide. Okay? But I have found other cultures, extremists, have all taken turns abusing me and pinning me down to help those in prominent jobs from being made liable or to stop them from losing their jobs. So I'm going to go on a video that I did this morning, or what's today? Actually, that I did yesterday morning, just to update you all of my situation personally. Hi everyone, today is the 21st of April 2026. So I thought I'd just do a quick update and you see me in person. Hi, thank you for watching my video clips. Thank you for those that are praying and watching over me. So I just want to just quickly update just what's going on with my court case and my current set of circumstances. Obviously, my case is a very serious crimes against humanity case. As you can see, I've been denouncing the incite to mutiny by the government, the Crown, and any ads that reflects or is in regards to myself, of people basically turning my life into a game. Obviously, that's what everyone has used me for historically, so there's sufficient evidence there to actually prosecute everyone involved in using me for a pecuniary advantage and also tax invasion and home invasion. So at this point in time, the case is currently now with the higher court, and I've got a good feeling it's going to go positive because it's too serious to ignore. So I just thought I'd just do this clip so you can all see where I'm going, what I'm going through. Yes, I am still pregnant. So that's a very serious case of genocide. And I had a ultrasound, like all the evidence that I put in with the civil cases with the judges going back when I was trying to resolve that at the judiciary review. By this time, the defamation of my character and everything to do with me was damaged, and I didn't really realize why what I was going through, me being so private, a private individual minding my own business. But then I realized it was because heaps of people were secretly within government, had coded me and inciting globally, had turned me into a product globally, but that explains the personal defamation. So I've had to denounce all that, and it's actually working. Things are getting a bit better, but still a high risk case. My case is against New Zealand Police and Independent Police Code of Conduct. So unfortunately, they don't have any evidence against me. So basically what everyone has done is they dug up my past to use against me. So now, because everything that I had put on my YouTube is true, so it's a very serious criminal case where the Crown is the defendant. It has ruined my relationship. People close to me have been used also against me. So basically it's my truth versus the Crown or the government. But in saying that, I just want to do this clip as an introduction. I'll keep you guys updated. I've sued them in the civil jurisdiction, and I have every intention to sue PSA and even my employer and all the other body corporates involving my court cases. I haven't gone down the route of the banks because they're all involved. So they've used me like a product. That's exactly what they've done. It's home invasion and it's crimes against humanity. It's cruel, it's slave crime, it's clear indication of slave crime, of using someone to steal their intellectual property, even for relationship scams, the twinning and switching. So I've been denouncing everything. So I will keep you updated with my court case. The doctor has confirmed that they did see a baby in my stomach. They saw a baby's head. But in saying that, in the moment, the people that are actually serving me in government or anything to do with my personal property, they're not being straight up on us. It's all part of the system of, on a big cover-up and somebody carrying out other people's motive and intention or creating evidence that is not true. There is nothing wrong with me mentally. Yes, I've developed mental injury from my court cases and from the psychological and mental abuse that's consistent with my court case and the public scrutiny. It is definitely gang related. They've used me for Commonwealth Games. That's quite clear. So I've had to denounce all that. So at this point in time, the case is pending in my favour. I'm just taking one day at a time. ACC did an assessment on my mental injury, and that's been granted. However, because of the seriousness of my case and everything, the information that is written about me has to be accurate. So how this whole thing works is a high risk on an individual. They got a psychologist who wrote a report on my mental health. I didn't agree to everything she had written, so I put a template together because I didn't agree on what she had said, and some of the things she had said, it actually was in favour of the misuse of the Mental Health Act and the abuse that I was suffering at working at with the Ministry of Justice, okay, because I did take the psychiatrist, Dr. John Joseph, to court. He lost his case. The Ministry of Health lost their case because they wrote all these assessments about me, and it turned out that the two nurses who wrote the report on the 9th of July didn't even qualify. They were nurses, and Dr. John Joseph and the other medical practitioner, Dr. Ickham, they had no medical evidence to support them using the Mental Health Act on me at that point in time, going back to 2016. If you don't know, using the Mental Health Act on any individual without their consent or without medical evidence, it's a crime because it's a criminal offence to do what, for obvious reasons. People have used it so then they can use it against me secretly, undermining and defaming me. And so that's what I'm up against. And also with the whole pregnancy is a big cover-up. It's so serious. On the 1st of April, I had another scan, and I wasn't happy because they've falsified my medical records as being not pregnant. even though a blood test came positive, and I haven't stopped saying that I am, because I know myself, I know my own body, and saying that because I did see the baby. If you've watched the other videos with the evidence that I have shown, so it's a very serious case, words can't express how serious it is. I did see the baby in another scan. That is what I told the judges in court. I actually begged the courts to intervene, but they haven't, so it's quite clear they were going to let me die and obviously let the baby die. The funding in regards to anything to do with me, I don't know who's behind it, but basically they've stopped my rights to the public funding. My family GP said that they won't treat me as a female that is pregnant without the evidence of me being diagnosed as being pregnant. Okay, in saying that, regardless, if the baby still has to come out, because otherwise I could die, because that's the other reason why I haven't been able to stop. So on the 1st of April, I rang up to make an appointment, because I know I'm glued to the people that are trying to take me out or destroy or kill me, or to steal. That's what it is linking to my court cases. Obviously, because they've used me for money laundering already, going back to Unison Dance Crew. I can still prove that legally, that it was my idea and they stole my identity, and people were stealing funding money and stealing money from my bank accounts. So it's a very serious culpable homicide. Many serious offences has occurred. But on the 1st of April of this year, I went private to go and have an ultra scan. But in saying that, even when I went, they charged me $405. My sister actually paid for it, so she basically has actually saved my life. The reason why I was doing that, because I wanted to have a peace of mind, because everyone's trying to convince me of a lie when I know they're lying. All right, that's what I'm up against, my word against them. They're lying, they're trying to convince me of a lie, but basically they're trying to murder me. They're acting it out. They know I'm pregnant and they're inciting about it, so I've had to incite everything about my court case because it's that serious, okay? They've exiled me. They're using the public to keep tabs on me, and just they're using my bank account to keep tabs on me. They're inciting it globally. I'm a product. So the in-between, the danger for me is making the decision in between, and also just avoiding, walking into their plots. Okay, there's a clear indication somebody wants me dead, so it's a culpable homicide. There's several occasions or occurrences of attempts in my case. And so yes, I can confirm I did see a fully figured baby in my stomach, okay? The baby is still alive. I've still got HGC level. I don't know why the HGC level isn't what they classify as someone being pregnant. However, there is HGC level in my blood. My doctor did say that that means the baby is still alive. If the baby died, it has to come out. I wouldn't have the HGC level, otherwise I will die. So that's the evidence in court right now. And saying that, I've had other scans with the hospitals, so the hospitals are criminally liable also because they would have seen the baby. I'm telling you, I swear on the Bible, I did see the baby on the 1st of April. The doctors confirmed that they did see the baby. They saw the baby's head. I wasn't happy with the lady that was monitoring me. It's a cultural, I don't know, I'm not going to exalt no culture. I'm just going to describe my crime scene. It has to do with the Indians, okay? I'm not scared of yous. I'm denouncing anything evil. What yous are all doing to me is evil. I'm dealing also with the ISIS. I'm dealing with the extremist Māoris, all the extremist culture. You all have no business at all to do what you've done to me. So what I describe on my YouTube channel is my evidence for an international criminal case, because that's what it is. So basically, IPCA and New Zealand police, this is their only last chance to resolve this. Otherwise, criminal charges will follow. Okay, if I had it my way, I would press criminal charges on every individual and every body corporate, because my case is that serious. They don't have anything on me up to today. Like this, what they've done to me, been going on for 10 years. They've deliberately made me suffer. They've deprived me of my liberty. So yeah, I'll update you guys with my court case. I should be hearing something good soon. But New Zealand Police and IPCA, this is their last chance to Okay guys, so basically my case is definitely trafficking in people by means of cohesion and deception. Okay, so I'm an animated victim of crimes. So that's why the evidence, it cannot compete against mine, because I'm the original, obviously. So there's sufficient evidence there to charge all the body corporates for trafficking in people and for not using their services to intervene, and for using me for trafficking reasoning. Is it easy to prove in court? Yes. Easy for me to prove. Piece of cake. I'm not joking. As you can tell in that video clip, I'm actually really furious with what they've put me through. They've treated me like a slave. The mockery and the abuse it's mean, it's brutal, it's cruel. So you can tell by the way I'm talking, I'm not happy with what everyone has done to me. It's not acceptable behavior. It's disrespect. Publicly exploiting me the way they have, it is crimes against humanity. But trafficking in people by means of coercion and deception, it's 20 years imprisonment or a fine of $500 or both. So at this point of time, I'm just waiting on the judge's decision. Obviously, the baby has to come out. And really, in all honesty, I feel the government owes me an apology. But I have been exposing their criminal tactics. They turn it into like a Commonwealth game. But because they've coded me, the opponent, they're coding me because of my court case. That's why. Because they know that they've committed serious crimes. If these doctors and everyone that has participated in the opponent using substitute, if they were operating in integrity, they wouldn't have to do what they're doing. But obviously, because there's a lot of jobs at risk, because they've committed felony and misdemeanor. Okay, so as you all know, I am a Christian. This here is one of my favorite verses. Okay, and I know that when I was at church in the early years and at work, I minded my own business. But I now can honestly say other religions and other cultures have used me to, well, obviously has ganged up on me to keep me suppressed and glued themselves and secretly defamed me while I was working and while I was going to church. So I was under tremendous attack at that point of time. I just knew something wasn't right and wasn't, my environment was really bad. But I really believe in this verse. If you're a Christian, it says here, if we say we have fellowship with him and walk in darkness, we lie and do not practice the truth. But if we walk in the light, like we have fellowship with one another, and the blood of Jesus Christ, his Son, cleanses us from all unrighteousness. So if we confess, like I know that a lot of people don't agree with me because of my life, but this is my life. This is my journey. God knows I'm not perfect. I know I'm not perfect, but I believe in the power of the blood does cleanse us from all sins. And because I'm confessing, and obviously nothing about me is a secret, I'm just putting right what the opponent has done secretly. Defamation. Obviously, the devil is as a father of lies. So basically, with what I've gone through, if I hadn't have exposed my situation, the intent is to actually eventually kill somebody just through their lies. But this is my walk, my journey, my personal journey between me and God. So don't compare your situation for me against me, because everyone is different and God uses everyone in a different way. So I've had to denounce all those relationships because it's a global hostage taking using substitutes and relationship scams. I'm telling you, it's a global game, and especially when they're inciting using songs and singers doing lyrics. It's just like there's nothing new about what they've done to me. They've just secretly been doing it for a long time, and it's taken me a while to actually realize what they were actually doing. Okay, why the opponent has ganged up against me versus the substitutes, or the Crown. Obviously they don't want to lose their job. They think that they should win just because they have a law degree and I don't. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. The only thing that they should be able to win is honest and integrity. Okay, but the law does allow us to represent ourselves because we can. It's I'm defending my property, my entity. I'm defending myself. So I'm not breaking any laws, but they are. But you can see why committing a felony or misdemeanors are very serious misconducts. This is a very serious case, guys, okay? Words cannot express how serious it is. To the opponent, when you've been animated or inanimate, they think you're dead. Okay, so that's how people have actually treated me, like I've got no rights. My Bill of Rights, my human rights, and the abuse. To them, I'm dead. Well, I'm not dead, I'm still alive. My other discovery that I have found in the moment is the reason why the laws even came about. Okay, the reality is the Bible is actually linking to the laws and why they came about. There's clear indication of that the laws came about because of true godly men and women in the Bible, going back to the time when the laws actually took place. So I was just trying to find a verse in the Bible recently, and this is my verse for the week about when to actually obey the civil laws or the civil government versus God. And I found this verse in Romans 13 verse 7, where it says, "Render therefore to all their due, taxes to whom taxes, custom to whom customs, fair to whom fair, honour to whom honour." So my personal testimony links to my court cases, and yes, I have gifts, spiritual gifts God has blessed me with. I've had to go through this journey personally for Him to reveal to me the things that He has wanted me to see that I wouldn't have known any other way. Okay, a lot of people may not agree with me. I feel like I've done everything backwards. Everything that other people, the human mind thinks, nah, she's not relevant, or whatever it is what other people believe. They don't think I'm not good enough. Well, unfortunately, God can use anyone, and my what they've done to me is my personal testimony, my identity. So that is what I'm standing up against. I'm not doing anything. I'm not preaching anymore or anything like that. I have no intentions of going down that route. Because my life has changed, my situation and circumstances has changed. But in saying that, I'm just reflecting on the Bible, giving God the glory and the honor for everything that He has done for me in the moment and what I've actually witnessed, the things He has shown me, things that He has saved me from. So I'll just leave it at that for now. I'll leave you with this verse. This is what I found. You should look it up yourself. But this is basically, there is a time when we don't have to listen, when we know that the government or the civil government, the time for a person not to listen or be obedient really is when they've gotten away from God because God is no longer with them. I really love the Bible. I do believe that the Bible is links to the laws and how they even came about and why they actually, what trafficking in persons actually means, obviously. So basically it was the character of Jesus. A lot of the laws reflect on his character as a human being. We're not, and just because we're a Christian, I'm standing against it because I don't tolerate abuse, or anything like that at all, or cybercrime. I don't tolerate that. I don't like bullies or abuse of any kind. But I've had to go through my personal journey so I can actually witness what actually the verses mean and why they actually came about. And they actually do reflect on the character of Jesus Christ. So yeah, to all the other religions, I'm not out there to put you down because I don't know your religion, but I will lift up what my belief, and that's definitely the Bible. I know that I've been personally attacked because of that too. But greater is He that is in us and he that is in the world. So yeah, I'll end it at that. Okay, guys, I think I've ended at that. So this here is actually from the Crimes Act, self-defense and defense of another. So regardless, whatever reason people did what they did to me, I'm within my right to defend myself. I think what you have done to me is very wrong. And no, you don't need a law degree to represent yourself in court. So I'm just going with the court case, and I'll update you guys with my case. Yeah, and also with my life. Alright guys, I'm sorry this video clip has gone too long. But there's a lot of positive things in my video clip. It's me also allowing you to be involved in the moment, everything. So basically you're in my presence, you're in my world and in my story, and basically I'm dealing with everything legally. It is a criminal case, so I'll update you guys soon. I should hear from the judge any time. The courts have everything they need from me. I thought I won't embarrass the Crown by showing the evidence of my court case. So I thought I'll just go with it and and find out what is the outcome from the higher court. But I'm telling you that they don't have a leg to stand on. If I was to show everyone the evidence on my on my YouTube channel, I'm telling you, it's the kind of case where World War III would have broken out. It's the reason why World War One and Two broke out. You know, when they are taking over people's personal property, or when a religion or a culture is taking over another religion or culture. That is what they've done to me personally. So I did think about showing my evidence that I've submitted to court, but I'm saving the Crown the embarrassment and allowing them to just come with a conclusion. They have turned my life into a game. The whole inciting is because they're trying to get intervention, obviously, so I don't win. They're trying to vote who should win and who shouldn't win. But that's what they've done to me historically with using the substitute. But I'll keep everyone up to date with the outcome as soon as I know what it is. And hopefully it will be a positive outcome. I'm staying positive and just trusting God is going to intervene. I want to thank you to everyone who is praying for me. I honestly thank you for that. Currently gone back to Church of Christ New Zealand in Gleneden, because I just feel in my heart I belong in church on a Sunday. So I'm trying my best not to give up. Emotionally, I have suffered really serious traumatizing stuff personally. But I'm okay. I'll get over it, and I'll just take one day at a time. Okay, guys. I'll keep you update of the outcome of the case. I should hear something from them anytime soon. They've given me a deadline time, so I'll just wait for it. Okay, thanks. Bye.